And good morning. It's 7:04 on this Thursday, June 23rd. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Well, hello everybody and welcome. Thursday morning, the sun is shining. It's going to be a terrific Thursday, no doubt. But we might make it a tremendous Thursday. I don't know. We're here for Bates Ford this morning, 1673 West Main in Lebanon, and our usual two. Ronnie, I'm going to introduce you first this morning. You were out last week. We're glad to have you back, and certainly we're sorry about the loss of your brother, but it's good to see you today.
Good morning. Thank you.
All right, Paul Tubbs, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Baseball's more on your mind than golf these days, I think.
Well, right now, we're running kind of hard. My 9-year-old's on the Little Lebanon Youth All-Star, and they've been playing in Smith County, and my older boy, we had a little tournament in Knoxville, so we're baseballing it right now, but I love it. It's fun. Enjoy it.
You hear a lot about this, Ronnie.
Yes, we talk about baseball a lot.
Well, of course, we're primarily here. You're primarily here each Thursday to talk about all that's offered at Bates Ford, and we always remind you the dealer it'll trade for anything it don't eat. Something that started back, what, 08, 09?
Yeah, that's Tony's pride and joy. He really takes pride in that, but he stands by. We traded for a guy wanted a truck we had, and long story short of it, he had a John boat and a tiller, and so we took all that in and made him a happy customer. So yeah, we stand by. We trade for anything that don't eat. It's a true fact.
Well, you've talked about we've talked about your oil change for a long time, and the cheapest one in town. You've been so overwhelmed with that people taking advantage of it that it's kind of presented a busy problem.
Yeah, what we try to do is take the first 30 every day. I had a customer yesterday that was a little upset, but 2:30, 3 o'clock, we couldn't get him in. He, shows up, but it's not fair to the people that showed up at 7:30, 8 o'clock when you got 30 and you got to get them done. So we are patiently waiting. We do have some outstanding news that our groundbreaking on our new dealership is actually going on today. They're starting the erosion process and getting that, and that we're full bore moving ahead. So they're starting today to get our new facility over off Franklin Road, or just off Hartman Drive and Franklin Road that backs up to the interstate. They're starting to get it moving today. So that's something, we really wanted a couple of months ago. We're going to be in a timeline because we've got to be over there by October of 23. But Seth and Heath and all the guys that's involved in the project, and Carrie and everybody's assured us that we'll make it. So we're trusting in them, and we're going to move straight.
You're talking about a year and a quarter here to get all this done.
Yeah, I've discussed it with them, and but like I said, we trust them guys. We're gonna keep our faith, and we're gonna move forward. But yeah, we've got to be over October of 23.
But you are planning to have the opportunity for more oil changes each day.
That's one of the biggest reasons is the community's grown and our business has grown, and we take so much work in that it's just astonishing that we try to do our best to get our customers out. But when you only have so much area and you only have so much room, there's only so much work you can do. So if you take 30 oil changes, that's your max capacity by 10, 11 o'clock. You've got to get them 30 people satisfied. Right. So that's kind of where we go with the 30 number.
Well, we will go ahead and mention tires and batteries, and we'll let Ronnie talk about some cars here.
Right now our battery's still $134.95. We install them on most vehicles free of charge. Ford's doing great tire deals. You got two opportunities. We'll meet or beat anybody's price on tires. They'll either give you a $100 rebate when you buy a set of tires, or they'll give you Ford Pass reward points. That Ford Pass reward is something I don't discuss a lot. It's a program Ford has where you get points for service or points for buying vehicles, and you can apply that towards it, anything you want. I have a lot of people who say they buy a car and they'll get the points. Well, they'll buy floor mats or accessories or things like that. So it's a really neat program.
Well, Ronnie, what's on your mind about cars today?
Well, we got some real nice Expedition, a 19 Expedition, a Max, XLT, leather, 46,000 miles. This vehicle was a one-owner vehicle that someone bought from us, and this is a great used vehicle. We have several great used vehicles, and also on yesterday we bought a 2012 Jeep for mail carriers. It's a right-hand drive, and this is a great vehicle. It does have AC in it. It's a nice vehicle, so all mail carriers, if you need a great vehicle, that'll be a great vehicle to pick up.
Now this is not for sure not for everybody.
Not for everybody. But Mike, I said, Mike, we got a guy that want to sell us.
If you got the steering wheel on the right side in front, it takes some getting used to. I don't think anybody would want to chance that. I don't know whether. I guess it would be legal, but I sure wouldn't want to.
I wouldn't want to chance it, but Paul and Mike were there, and the
mail carrier.
Right, a mail carrier.
Come see Ronnie today.
Come see Ronnie Kelly today, and we'll put you in the vehicle.
That's one of several of them. We've had a few
Yeah.
of them, and we've done really good. I mean, you would be surprised there is a market for that out there.
Really?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to drive it. I'd run over everything.
Anything else you want to talk about?
Well,
one of those F-150s?
We got F-150s, and we got a few used ones. We don't have any new ones right now, but we just had it. One came in, and Paul sent it out, had it jacked up. It's already sold. So, but we F-150, we have a great market for used. We have some used ones, and it's a great. We got about 7 used ones, and they're great. So come on down.
We do have some new ones in transit that should be there within the next week. I think I looked yesterday on all of our new inventory that's coming in, and we have 7 of the 7 new F-150s that's supposed to be there in a short amount of time. We're keeping our fingers crossed.
Yeah, we keep them crossed and hope we get them. And once we get them, you need to come on down and look at them because they will sell quick.
All right. Well, all of this, of course, at Bates Ford, 1673 West Main. Ronnie, have a good week.
Thank you.
Paul, a good baseball and Ford week. How's that?
I hope so. Thank you.
All right. See you next week. Bates Ford, 1673 West Main in Lebanon, Tennessee. The dealer that'll trade for anything that don't eat. All right, 10 and a half after the hour, and my guests this morning are here, and first I'm going to introduce a gentleman named Will Rivers. Will Rivers, good morning to you.
Oh, good morning, Coleman. I'm a big fan. Ever since we moved to Lebanon in 2007, I've been tuning in and listening to Coleman and Company.
Well, thank you so much, and you've brought somebody with you today that I'll let you introduce.
Yes, my friend here is Heather Young, who is the founder and director of All For Him Ministry. So if you're interested in finding out more about Heather's ministry, just go allforhimministry.org.
Well, Heather, welcome to our program.
Thank you for having me.
How long you been around here?
6 years.
6 years.
6
All
years we've been in this community. We serve in Nashville, but we've made Lebanon is my home. So we have made it a point to make sure that we are just taking care of our town.
Well, let me say that, Will, you were recommended to me by Sean Dozier the other day. He said if you ever, he can even come on the last minute, and this sort of was a last minute thing. We contacted or talked to each other yesterday, really text. That's talking anymore.
It is these days. In fact, I got 3 grandkids, and I can barely get them to answer the phone, but boy, they'll sure respond to a text message very quickly.
Well, thank you so much for being here. There's so much we really got to talk about, and I don't know what is tops on your list, but I'm going to let you lead it off here, if you will.
Okay. Well, when we first moved to Lebanon back in 2007, I was invited by a pastor at the Love's Way Church. A lot of people knew Brother Bob Evans and his wife, Sister Peggy Evans. And Brother Bob had been attending a meeting of the Christian leaders and community leaders over at the Hearthside Community Center and the clubhouse. And one of those who was there was Pastor Matt Steinauer of the Faith Lutheran Church.
Right.
And during the discussion one day at lunch, they were talking about how it sure would be nice seeing us how there's so many people in Lebanon and Wilson County who would really be interested in helping folks, and a lot of folks who need help. There was a centralized way of getting all this information and putting it together on the internet, which was really exploding at the time, and people were getting accustomed to looking things up. And so here it is, just 15 years later, I've come up with a website called wilsonhelps.org. And wilsonhelps.org is basically a Craigslist of things that you can look for in terms of help categories and organizations that are willing to help people. So if people are interested, and they can go to wilsonhelps.org. And one of
And
those,
that's helps, plural, H-E-L-P-S.
yes,
Yeah.
wilsonhelps.org or .com. It'll get you either one will get you there. But one of the ministries that I had listed on here is the All for Him, Compassionate Hands, Joseph Storehouse. And let's say somebody's looking for some food, one of the basic necessities of life. So in the help category, that's the first one that they will see. They'll just click on there. It opens up a long list. We've got over 100 different categories now and 100 different organizations which are willing to help folks. And they'll show a number of places in Wilson County where people can get food, even hot meals. In fact, there's in that list on the website, there's a place where somebody can get food every day of the week, every week, if they wanted to. Some of them are a little bit further away than others, so they might have to barter with some folks to see if they could get a ride to get some food. But there's plenty of places in Wilson County that are willing to give food to folks, including Joseph Storehouse, which is having their food giveaway today and on Saturday this morning from 8:30 until 11:30. So if somebody's hungry, there's a place where they can get some food and some hot meals. We even have 3 places that are serving hot meals on Sunday. In front of the Travel Inn, we have about 100 people that come and get a beautiful Sunday buffet lunch from 3 to 4:30 every Sunday afternoon. We have a lot of volunteers from various churches that bring food, and it's a good time of food, fun, fellowship, and faith. And then, of course, there's the Compassionate Hands, which has been around for a long time. Compassionate Hands serves a lunch on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 12 until 2. And if somebody wants to get a hot meal, they even can get a shower, laundry service, toiletries, prayer encouragement, and even life coaching. So if somebody needs food, there's a place in Wilson County where they can get some food.
Well, you convinced me. We need to take a break right here. I'll reintroduce my guest when we come back. This is Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:17. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to our friends at Bates Ford, that regular oil change is now $34.95, up to 5 quarts of oil, tax and disposal. Bates Ford, 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Here's what we see. Heavy traffic right now, already 65 southbound at Trinity Lane. It's busy, but it's moving through Mount Juliet on I-40. That traffic coming in from Wilson County this time of the morning. Already some short stopping or delays up and down sections of Murfreesboro Pike right now. Murfreesboro Pike at Bell Road, trying to clear up that earlier crash. Princess Hot Chicken now available for catering. They're also hiring. Check out that menu, princesshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing has experienced new leadership and a new atmosphere. Same location in the heart of Lebanon, 731 Castle Heights Court on the Castle Heights campus. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing is providing 5-star clinical outcomes to short-term and long-term care residents. Call 615-444-4319 for a tour and to experience the new culture. Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing.
There's a reason why more home buyers and sellers trust A.G. & Johnson Realty and Auction to get the job done. A.G. & Johnson offers what you want: more knowledge, more personal attention, more convenience. When you love what you do, it shows. That's why we have been voted the best of Wilson County by you, our clients. Discover the A.G. & Johnson difference. We are trusted by your neighbors for a reason. Call 615-444-0909 or visit us online today, agandjohnson.com, your community trusted realty and auction company.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. And we have Will Rivers here. We have Heather Young. Heather, I know you're about to sign the guest book, but I want to talk to you for a minute here and about what you're doing. Your ministry, Will, has brought you out this morning, and I think you told me you've been here 6 years in Lebanon.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And because we live here, we started to see the need here, and the need has been growing. So we came up with a Sunday feeding and at the Travel Inn, and the owner there has been so gracious to let us take over their parking lot. And we provide a hot meal, and we were actually doing portable showers out there on Sundays because some of them live in their cars or in tents and they just can't get to a shower. We also have blessing boxes throughout our community. We're on our 6th blessing box. So we have those scattered throughout the community so that people can get a meal anytime they want to get a meal. And then we also have our warehouse so people can come and get clothing if they're coming out of jail or they just need a meal, or if they're going into recovery. We provide the blankets, the hygiene, the food box, sneakers, things like that.
Well, let me ask. We have periods, peaks and valleys, like in the economy and this sort of thing. And right now, I'm not sure how to describe where we are. But you've been doing this close to 6 years then? Is the need changed much? Is it about the same all the time?
I feel like the need has grown tremendously in the past probably 2 years.
That there's a bigger need.
Yes, sir.
In the last
Yes, sir.
2 years. Yeah.
People that had a job, had a place, are now living in their car, or they're living in a motel because they've lost everything, due to COVID or loss of job or things like that. So it's just drastically. We have families that are just trying to make ends meet, and then the people that we serve at the motel, they have to decide whether they get a meal or they pay for their room. So it's been drastic.
Well, so many of us, I mean, I'll be honest, I don't see this. I'm not around it, and I hear others talk about it, and I want to believe them, but when you don't see it, it's not on your mind all the time. I guess it's a little bit different. This is something that you've really, I guess, made a ministry out of.
I quit my full-time job to do this, and this has been my heart. And so I always have an eye. I'm always looking, and I always get calls or something like that. But this has been my heart, is to help people, and just to give them a hand up, and just to encourage them, because it could be any of us. And I always say we're one paycheck away from it being us.
Well, if somebody wants to join your organization, your ministry, do you welcome? You need
Absolutely.
people? Yeah.
Absolutely. We love it. We love having kids because we like to change the next generations of thinking, of just being kind and compassionate. But they can call us. They can also go to our website at allforhimministry.org, and we can get them plugged into one of our locations.
Well, I know there's a lot more you want to talk about this morning, but anything you want to add to what she said here?
Well, if you go on to the website, allforhimministry.org, and read Heather's bio, it will bring you to tears. She has got such a heart for people. I was looking at it yesterday in preparation for us talking today to find out a little bit more about the ministry. And when I read what she has done for folks and some of the wonderful experiences that have come out of her confrontation and her encounters with people, it's just literally life-changing. In fact, she gave us some shirts to wear whenever we're volunteering, and on some of the back of the shirts, it says life changer and difference maker. And just like the old saying, it's better to light a candle than to curse the darkness.
Yeah.
I mean, when you see people on the side of the road asking for money, we'll work for food. Or one of them is even honest and he says, I'll be honest with you, I just want money for beer. Well, most people are thinking, I'm not going to give these people any money. So you kind of wonder, well, what about the people that are legitimately hurting and in trouble? Mm-hmm. If you have just a few minutes on Sunday afternoon, every Sunday afternoon from 3 to 4:30, if you want to go across the street from the pilot truck stop, there's the Travel Inn Motel. You'll pull up and you'll see just a throng of people waiting to get a free meal. And if you talk with some of them, and even better if you pray with them, you'll find out some of these folks are just regular folks who have just nothing. I mean, they're literally existing on, some of them are coming out of the woods, some are coming out of their motel rooms, some are coming across the street from the pilot truck stop. But like the old saying, but by the grace of God, there go I.
Yeah.
So it's a really wonderful ministry that All for Him is doing. And I encourage people to look at her website and also look at wilsonhelps.org, because you'll find help categories like addiction services, Alcoholics Anonymous, Angel Tree, baby items, books, careers, case management programs. I mean, I could read the list for the rest of the hour. It'd probably put most people to sleep. But it's an amazing amount of help that's available here in Wilson County for either free or almost next to nothing.
Well, let me ask this, and not necessarily being the role of the devil's advocate, as some people say, but with all the help wanted signs that are out there, it seems like almost anybody could find a job today.
It does, but when you talk to some of these people who have these challenges, you'll find out that maybe they were addicted to some pain medication and then they fell off the wagon.
Yeah.
Or they lost a job and then they got into trouble with the law, or maybe they had circumstances which were beyond their control. And I actually helped a young man who was trying to get back into the productive element of society. And it was amazing how expensive it is to try to get back onto your feet with court costs and probation fees and trying to get your driver's license back and trying to get insurance. And everybody knows how much it costs these days for just everything. So it's quite a challenge once you're in that position to try to get back. And I just want to commend the people who are doing these kinds of work and offering their services in our county. They are really just like the first responders. They're our true American heroes. And I also want to give a shout out again to Pastor Matt Steinhauer, who came up with this idea of doing this wilsonhelps.org. It's kind of a Craigslist of things that you can look for in terms of help and people who are willing to help. And another one that's really making a difference in our community is Reverend John Grant over at Compassionate Hands. Mm-hmm. And that's like a one-stop shop for all kinds of help. They help people get back on their feet with getting them jobs, getting their license back, getting their background checks done. They do life coaching in addition to the meals and the showers and the laundries and the haircuts. It's just an amazing ministry. If you got a minute to go over there to Compassionate Hands, just look on the website. You'll find their address. It's over there not too far from the town square. And they're doing a real wonderful ministry here in Lebanon.
Do you find, and both of you can answer this, the people that you have described here, and there are a lot of them apparently, so many of them need encouragement. Is that one of the real needed things, encouragement, maybe a push, a help from somebody?
Absolutely. I think that's the essential piece, because everyone that we deal with is broken to some sort. And it's just, you have no idea how far a kind word can take, or even just that I believe in you, or let's help you get that job. Because to your point, trying to get a job it costs money to have, your ID, all of your paperwork. So that's where we step in and we help with the identification, or even getting a cell phone so that they have a place to call. But they don't know where to start. Sometimes they don't have that consistency, or they've never had someone say, hey, I believe in you. Let's get you to where you need to be. And I think that is essential. And I've seen people change dramatically because of that.
Do you, it's not going to work. You're not going to change everybody. But do you, a fair percentage of people you are really able to help, and at least some of them get back on their feet?
We've seen some beautiful stories of people getting back on their feet. We've seen some that will try and, fall back, but they'll try again. And we have to just keep helping and doing what we can. But I've seen some beautiful stories of people that have, recovered, are, off the drugs, off the alcohol, and have completely changed their life. So it's inspiring.
Will?
Well, to wrap up, Coleman, I'd like to say, for people of faith, not only do we have a commandment to help those who are less fortunate, because in Psalm 41, verse 1, it said, God helps those who helps the poor. And in Matthew 25:40, even Jesus, our Lord, said, if you've done it to the least of these, my brethren, you've done it to me. So when I go before the Lord, I would like to hear those wonderful words, well done, good and faithful servant. Now, if you ask me to go out to eat, I like to eat steak, but I like it medium rare. But when I stand before the Lord, I want to hear, well done.
I don't think I've ever heard it put just like that before, but very well said. Is this most of your life involved in this anymore?
Well, since I've retired back in 2007 and we moved to Lebanon at the insistence of our daughter and her husband and our 3 wonderful grandchildren, it's been almost full-time. I spent quite a bit of time over the Joseph Storehouse Food Ministry. And then when I began to go around the community and see all the needs and the people we're helping, I just thought, what a wonderful thing it would do to finish out what I call my fourth quarter in life, to try to help as many people as I can. In fact, some people say, well, what is this Wilson Helps anyway? And I'd say, well, I guess the easiest way to say it is just people helping people in Wilson County, Tennessee.
Heather, you want the last word this morning? We got about a minute.
I just want to say thank you for having us on here, and thank you for letting us share what we do. And if anybody wants to come out on Sundays to travel in at 3 o'clock, we would love to have them.
Well, we certainly appreciate Will bringing you this
Thank
morning.
you.
You can really thank him, and he can thank me for getting him on.
Yes, thank you, Coleman. And I would like to say that both Heather and I are available to speak at churches, civic organizations, or even businesses if they're interested, and they can contact us by going to the website and use the Contact Us form. It'll come right to us.
Well, there's one thing about it. If you don't keep reminding people, people aren't confronted with this from time to time, they're going to put it on the back burner or not have it at all. So hopefully we've helped your cause a little bit this
Thank
morning.
you.
And I do appreciate both of you being with us
Thank
today.
Thank you.
Will Rivers and Heather Young. And that is part one of Coleman and Company. We've got more, so please keep it here, FM 98.9.
And it's 7:29. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to our friends at Absolute Kubota Exmark. Large inventory of Exmark mowers for homeowners and commercial users. #1 selling brand, bought 2-to-1 over any other commercial mower brand. 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. It started to slow down a few minutes ago. Just everybody got there at the same time. Vietnam Vets getting on to 65. It's also pretty busy. 65 south down through Millersville. It's holding up at the moment 24 as you come up through the Hickory Hollow area. You just got all that traffic pushing in right now from Rutherford County. And still a little bit slow. People were rubbernecking at a wreck through Brentwood a couple of minutes ago on 65 northbound near Concord Road. Hey, Princess Hot Chicken is now hiring at both their locations. Check out that menu at princesshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
The refreshing cool after coming in from a hot summer day. The perfect temperature to kick off your shoes and relax with a good book. When the weather heats up, a new Rheem AC system will surround your family in total comfort. Are you feeling it? Rheem, the new degree of comfort.
Financing available through TVA's Energy Right program and your local power company. Call Randy's Heat and Air 237-3604.
Rheem, the new degree of comfort.
I do a lot of thinking while I'm driving. I think about my kids, my grandkids, and my insurance business. When's the last time you thought about having your insurance program reviewed? This is John Bryan with THW Insurance. We're an independent, trusted choice insurance agency representing several top-rated insurance companies like Westfield Insurance Company. Give me a call at 615-443-3849 for a no-obligation review of your current insurance plan. THW Insurance Services, serving Lebanon and Wilson County for decades.
Hey, this is Paul with Bates Ford, and our vehicle purchase program has been a huge success. If you got something you want to sell, bring it to Bates Ford for a cash offer. Even if you owe money, we'll pay it off and give you the difference. And on the service side, we got some great deals. We got the Works program, which includes an oil change and a tire rotation, the cheapest oil change in town, the cheapest battery in town for $134 installed on most vehicles. That's Bates Ford, 1673 West Main, the dealer that'll trade for anything that don't eat.
The area now sits behind yesterday's weak cold front, allowing for slightly lower heat and humidity on this Thursday. We're looking at a high of 92 and humidity that won't be high enough for a heat index. Sunshine will still be plentiful, so grab the sunscreen. Tonight we slide to a much more comfortable reading of 63. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Eric Striva.
Coleman and Company, welcome to part two. It is a Thursday morning. We welcome Jay White and Helene Cash to talk about A.G. & Johnson Realty and Auction. Jay, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
Good to see you. Your auction's still going well?
They are. We're still out there after it.
And I bet you got another one to talk about.
We do. We've got one.
Well, let me say hello to Helene this morning. Helene Cash, good morning to you.
Good morning, Coleman. How's your day?
Oh, so far so good.
I'm glad to see you.
Well, we'll remind everybody, A.G. & Johnson Realty and Auction, located at 728 West Main in Lebanon. They've had that location for a long time. The phone number probably even longer, 615-444-0909, and the website, www.agandjohnson.com. All that you would expect, I think. All right. Let's talk about that auction.
That'll be great. We were out on Fisher Drive this Saturday, Coleman. We've got Miss Mary Fisher's estate out there. I know a lot of folks out there knew Miss Mary. She was kind of a fixture here in town for a long time. She was a long-time resident here in Lebanon, and we're selling all of her personal belongings. The family's going to keep the house, but we're going to be there all day long. We've got lots of dolls, lots of figurines, lots of household items, and we've got tractors and mowers. We've got something for about everybody. But I'd say if you're coming, bring a chair and stay all day with us, because we'll be there most of the day.
Well, I've said it. I say it just about every week. You just love these auctions.
Well, we do.
They got to wear you out, but you get to talk a lot.
Well, that's true. That's true. We do. It's what we do, though, and we enjoy doing them. So, but we'll have a big day out there. It'll be warm, so. But we'll have plenty of soft drinks and Cokes and waters, and just come stay all day, and there's some shade, and we'll have tents up, so come out and be with us.
You always have a colorful flyer, and you got, I'm looking, is that 2 saxophones you're going to be selling?
We are. And I can't say that we've ever sold a saxophone before. We may have, but I don't know whether we have or not. But we do have a couple of saxophones out there. If you'll come out and play them for us, we'd appreciate that, Cole.
I'm not that musically inclined. Thank you very much.
I've had people call about the saxophones and the guitars out there, and we've had a lot of calls on the dolls and the figurines, and just
there's a nice looking writing more, a pretty big one too, it looks like.
Yes.
Yeah.
So just come on out and visit your friends, because it's a great time to just hang out and visit friends, and as I like to say, do a little shopping at the auction.
All right, 110 Fisher Drive, and that's just off 231 North.
That's correct. It's right out of town.
10 o'clock. Helene, what do you got for us?
Well, Lori Berry has a listing coming live tomorrow at 7044 Berkswell Drive. It's in the Villages of Hunters Point. This home is built in 2019, so it's one of those homes that will not be on the market long. It's a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, just over 1,800 square feet. So to me, it's just about brand new. Villages of Hunter Point is a highly desirable neighborhood. Sam Houston School District, Walter J. Baird Middle School, Lebanon High School. It is a smart home. So these new construction homes are smart homes. So it's really kind of technologically fun. But it's great construction. It's a great neighborhood. It has a loft. All the bedrooms are upstairs, but it has a loft office. So it goes live tomorrow. So you can give Lori Baird a call at the office at 444-0909, and you can set up a showing to see this home tomorrow.
And you are looking for more listings all the time?
Always looking for listings, or if you're looking for a home, if you're looking to sell a home, looking to find a new home, looking for land to build a home, looking for a commercial property, anything, we have an agent for you. As we talked about last week, Coleman, we've been in business for 45 years. We have agents that specialize in upsizing, downsizing, retiring, first homes, all of those nuances. I took a phone call last week after we left from a family that are looking not just to retire, but their mother needs to go into she needs a smaller home. The father has passed on, and they need a new phase in life home. So I've done a lot of those personally. It's not just a commercial for me, but I've specialized in going into retirement homes, because I've done this personally 4 times now. So I've learned the nuances of them. So we have agents in the company that have special nuances and specialties. So whatever your special needs are, we've got an agent for you.
All right. Well, you're looking for listings. Jay's looking for auctions and listings, right?
Absolutely.
We're looking.
Well, you're staying busy. That's one thing, and we appreciate you being here each Thursday to tell us all about it. And again, Jay, your auction this Saturday. 110 Fisher Drive.
110 Fisher Drive. Come out and be with us.
Starts at 10 o'clock.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, y'all have a great week, and we'll do it again next Thursday.
All right. See you
Jay
next
White,
week.
Helene Cash, A.G. & Johnson Realty and Auction, 728 West Main in Lebanon. Again, the phone number is 615-444-0909. We're 22 before the hour. And I am ready to introduce my guest who is live in studio with us this morning. We have another candidate for the 5th Congressional District, and this morning my guest is Andy Ogles. Andy, good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm doing well, and it's good to see you.
Yes, sir.
All the way from Murray County?
Yeah, we drove up this morning. You know, I'll tell you what, that auction looks like it's going to be a busy day this Saturday.
Yeah, well, they're used to it. They welcome it.
That's right.
We want to find out about you this morning, one of the 9 Republican candidates for the nomination to be the Republican candidate on the ballot in November for 5th District Congress. And you tell us, if you will, give you a minute or two here just to talk about yourself, your background, really what you're doing right now, if you will. You presently have a position in Murray County, don't you?
Yes, sir. I'm the mayor of Murray County, so this is my first term in office. And, you know, I had a really successful career, traveled quite a bit, and, you know, I had the opportunity to run for mayor and be at home with the family more. You know, we've got 3 little kids, and so it was a great opportunity. Murray County's budget at that time was a bit of a mess, and I got in there, and I'm an economist, and got in there and fixed the budget and straightened it out, and we're the fastest growing county in the state now.
Well, as far as your background, you're native Tennessean?
Yes, sir. Yeah, my family, if you've ever been to Gatlinburg or Pigeon Forge, there's a lot of Ogle up there. So my family is one of those families that helped found the state of Tennessee.
And how long have you been in Murray County?
We moved, so I grew up in Franklin, as did my wife. We dated in high school and college and got married. About 8 years ago, we lost a child back in 2014, and we had always talked about, you know, raising our kids on a farm. And so we moved down to Murray County, bought a little farm, and so our 3 other children, you know, they have sheep and goats and ducks and guineas and chickens. And you know, some of my fondest memories are my grandparents' farm and being a Boy Scout, Eagle Scout, being outside. And you know, it's just hard to replicate that in a subdivision. So we moved out to the country.
Well, I guess the part of Murray County you live in's got to be in the new 5th District, which stretches a little farther than it used to geographically.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those, if you'd asked anybody, you know, a couple of years ago, would Murray County be in the 5th Congressional District, we all would have chuckled, right? You know, just, you know, it's a rural community, suburban rural, but yeah, it's all of Lewis, all of Murray, all of Marshall, the east side of Williamson, of course, that J hook around Davidson County, and the west side of Wilson here. And, you know, it's been a fun campaign. You know, you put a lot of miles, and the kids are worn out. You know, as much as they like ice cream, I think they're tired of ice cream.
Why
suppers.
Are you running for this office?
You know, we're in a war. We're in a cultural war. We're in a political war. We're in a spiritual war, and the future of my children, the children of our nation, is at stake. And you know, I've seen what I've been able to accomplish as mayor of Murray County. You know, during COVID, I refused to shut anything down. I fought against the mandates, kept our schools open, because, you know, government doesn't have the right to intrude into our lives the way it has over these last couple of years. And we the people have to take back our freedom and liberty. You know, we the people have to assert states' rights over the federal overreach that we have had out of Washington, D.C.
Well, you sort of feel a calling for this, if you will. I mean, you sound like you really want to go to Washington, D.C.
Well, let's be clear. You know, my home's down in Murray County. I don't, you know, ever want to live in Washington, D.C., but I'll commute there to represent my country, to represent my community, to represent my family. But, you know, our home is here, and so that's one of those things that you get with me as mayor. You know, I've been very accessible. I think that's one of the reasons why, you know, I'm so popular down in not only Murray County, but just in the southern part of the district. You know, during COVID, you know, once again, you know, I traveled the state encouraging other county mayors and commissions to keep their economies open. You know, every job is essential. If you're a mom with 2 kids, your job's essential. You know, I started my career as a small business owner, and my restaurants and my real estate company was essential to me and my family. And how dare the government come in and say, you know what, you're going to be essential, but that person over there is not, period. You know, we've got to take a step back, learn from the mistakes that have been made, and make sure that they never happen again.
I've interviewed a number of you, and I have a few more to go. But
There's a lot on the ballot.
Yeah, nine of you. But a lot of what you're saying is the same. And now there's some variances, some differences a little bit, but all seem to be pretty conservative, but each has his own little niche, maybe. But with you seem to this COVID thing. The fight there, this has really rung a bell with you, apparently.
Well, I think it's a wake-up call, right? And you have to give credit to, all the moms out there, okay? During COVID, a lot of kids went remote, and, moms, parents in general, but certainly our moms, were more engaged in what the kids were hearing and reading and being taught. And it was like, oh my goodness, what did your teacher just say? And so now during COVID is when we really kind of peeled back the layers and found out about critical race theory. We found out about some of this really pornographic material in our elementary and middle schools. And so, COVID has ticked me off. And I'm sick and tired of the government meddling in my life, in your life, trying to come into Murray County or Middle Tennessee. Some bureaucrat in Washington, D.C. doesn't know our needs. They don't know how we want to live our life. Look, California has a right to be liberal, but Tennessee has a right to be conservative. We have a right to be religious, and that's been forgotten over the years, and I'm going to go up there and remind them very loudly that we are a free country and Tennessee's a free state.
Andy Ogles is my guest. We're talking about his candidacy for 5th District Congress, and we'll take a break here and more coming up on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And to 7:44, let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to our friends at Absolute Kubota Exmark, large inventory of Exmark mowers for homeowners and commercial users, the #1 selling brand, about 2-to-1 over any other commercial mower brand. 1506 West Main. Now with traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Traffic still pretty busy right now. 24 coming up through the Hickory Hollow area. Got a little bit sluggish earlier on 65 South, trying to get down through Millersville. You got all that traffic coming in through Robertson County, through that short section of Sumner County. Still busy through Hendersonville, pretty much on schedule, actually inbound on Vietnam Vets. Prince's Hot Chicken is now hiring. Check them out at princeshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Contact Stephen Lowry Land Clearing for all your land clearing needs. Whether it's clearing trails for ATVs, reclaiming pasture, or clearing your land of brush and trees, Stephen Lowry can get the job done. He works closely with customers, adjusting to make changes as you want. Stephen Lowry will give you quality work at a price that you can afford. He will also beat any written estimate. Call Stephen Lowry at 615-970-8154 for all your land clearing needs. That's Stephen Lowry Land Clearing, 615-970-8154.
What is your passion? How can you use that passion to enrich your community? Hi, this is Melanie Minter, President and CEO of the Lebanon-Wilson County Chamber of Commerce. Your chamber is the resource for making connections to fulfill your passion. Whether education, nonprofit, agriculture, entertainment, or government relations, Wilson County offers a place for you to be involved. Your chamber connects businesses, individuals, and your passion to the community. We have an enthusiasm for excellence. Join us and catch the spirit. Call or visit our office at 149 Public Square in Lebanon.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us here on this Thursday. And our thanks to Andy Ogles, who's candidate for Congress, for being here. This is a primary in August, and you showed me your countdown to how many days, minutes, and hours before the first voting takes place. Election, 22 days, 12 minutes, and 52 seconds.
That's right. Well, I'm a numbers guy, and so, I figured, on July 15th at 8 a.m., the polls open, and, they make an app for everything now, and so it literally will count down to the second when voting begins. And so, a lot of people think of this as an August election, but the reality is half the vote will be cast in July. It's really a July election.
Well, you've talked about your qualifications here, but if you get to Congress, what can you, one of 435 people, do?
Well, I have a track record of being active in politics. I worked for Americans for Prosperity, traveled the country fighting for low taxes and less government. I've written some pretty historic pieces of legislation. In fact, the largest tax decrease tax cut in Tennessee history. I wrote it. And so that's why the Freedom Caucus has endorsed me. And Jim Jordan has endorsed me, is because they know what they get with Andy. They get a fighter. They get someone who's going to stand on principles. During COVID, when I refused to shut down, when I refused to do the mandates, when I was traveling the state encouraging other mayors to stand strong, I was getting death threats. My family was getting threats. They put check this out. These liberals are so vicious. They put our home address and where our kids go to school out on the internet and literally said, you should go pay Andy and his family a visit. And so, this is how vile some of these folks are, but I never wavered. I stood in the gap and I fought. And that's that's why, again, the Freedom Caucus, Americans for Prosperity, they've all endorsed me. But to answer your question is, I'm working with the House Freedom Caucus. We're going to increase our ranks. We're going to fight for the American people. If you think about Newt Gingrich back in the day, the contract with America, he's actually working with the Freedom Caucus and House leadership to come up with a contract 2.0. So here's the things that we have to get done as we move forward, or this nation's in trouble. And so we have a distinct opportunity here in this August and then November election. It's going to be a huge red wave. And because of the numbers that we're going to increase, we're going to take this country back.
All right, let's just to set the record straight here, the things that you're for or the things that you're against. One of the things we may hear from the Supreme Court in a few days is the abortion issue. Your stand on that?
Yeah, I'm very pro-life. As someone, we have 3 beautiful children, a 15-year-old daughter, a 12-year-old son, and a 7-year-old son. There should be a 9-year-old in there. And so for someone who's actually had to bury one of his children, when I say I'm pro-life and that every life matters, I can tell you as a father who's lost a child that really means something to me. And so I'm very pro-life. We've got to get back to accountability and making the right choices. And that's what life is about. There's an opportunity to make a choice, but you got to make it on the front end and make better decisions on the front end so you don't end up with a child.
All right, we hear a lot about border issues and the drugs that are passing through and this fentanyl, I believe, and all this. What's your stand? What do you think ought to be done about border illegal immigration, especially that's coming through the Texas, Mexico, and Arizona borders?
Well,
and New Mexico, I guess, too.
That's
I don't
right.
know.
Well, it's interesting you asked, so early in my career, I was an entrepreneur and was successful young. And then later, people know me as kind of the policy guy and the mayor. But in the middle there, my midlife crisis was going to law enforcement. And, I was in local law enforcement and then went into international law enforcement and specifically worked on human trafficking. And so as part of that, the southern border. So I can tell you firsthand, as having spent 3 years fighting human trafficking across the world, I ran 12 countries, that we've got a problem on our southern border. We've got drugs, we have guns, we have people coming across the border. It's porous. I mean, you literally can just stroll across the border if you know where to come through, right? So we've got to build a wall. We've got to shut down the border and no amnesty. If you're here illegally, you'll never be a citizen under my watch.
How does that resonate with the people of this district, do you feel? Most people agree with you?
Oh, absolutely. I would say across the country. And what I have found, I'm polite and I try to be diplomatic, but if I'm talking to, Latinos for Tennessee, or if I'm talking to the Kurdish community, there's a large Kurdish population down in Antioch, I tell them the same thing. Because they respond to that because, again, I'm pretty black and white on the issues. They know what they get with Andy. They appreciate the fact I want to fix the immigration problem we have. One, by our open border, but two, to make the process simpler. And look, it's a right to it's our right as a nation to choose who comes and who leaves. Right? It's a privilege to be here. And so we get to decide whether or not you come in and whether or not you get to stay. And, in most countries, you and I can go work overseas, but we can never become a citizen. You get a 1-year work visa, you pay their taxes, you obey their laws, you can never vote, and you can never be a citizen. And if you break their laws, they're going to kick you out of the country and you can never come back. It's not that complicated. And yet we've been talking about immigration reform since Reagan. Enough's enough. Shut down the border. No one else comes in until we fix it. And the reason why, and I know that sounds harsh, But you build the wall, you shut down the border, shut off all immigration, and then what happens is, then it's going to start pinching. It's going to hurt, the business community. Then and only then will you truly get a bipartisan solution on immigration. We have to fix this. It's a national security issue. It's an economic issue. And quite frankly, the Democrats are trying to flood our country with illegals, give them amnesty because they hope they'll vote for them. No is the answer.
Let's change subject here drastically, I guess, but we have an inflation problem, and we are maybe $30 trillion in debt in this country, and that's got to, any thinking person that knows, had economics 101, knows that we're doing something wrong here.
Well,
we're spending more than we're taking in.
Oh, sure, right. So I'm an economist by training. I studied politics and economics in college, and you don't have to be an economist to know we're in trouble. I mean, if you and I ran our household or this radio station the way the government's being run right now, we'd be out of business or we would lose our home. It's a complex situation we're in right now. This is a government-created problem, period. The government spent way too much money during COVID. You can't print and give away that much money and not have consequences. We borrowed, and now the tab is coming due. And so we've got to start cutting our budget, getting spending under control. That's why I was against the Ukraine package, spending the billions of dollars to Ukraine. Look, I support their fight for democracy, but if we're going to send them $1, then the American people should get a $3 cut in actual spending. And so as we go forward, when you look at foreign aid, I'm all for supporting Taiwan, but knowing that we've got to cut our budget, every dollar we send overseas, we need to cut $3 at home for the American people, because we've got to get this budget under control. And another thing, from an accountability standpoint, we send billions of dollars to the Middle East. We send billions of dollars all over the world with no accountability. But with Israel, we hold them to a different standard. 75% of the dollars we send to Israel on military aid has to be spent on American goods and services. We should require that for all countries receiving military aid from the United States.
I want to ask about mental health, and the gentleman that I talked with yesterday is very big about this and about the problems that we have there, and thinking that we ought to be doing more in this country for this, because we're seeing it seems to be a bigger problem. And along with that, all the shootings we've had, so many of them seem to have some mental problems and go off the deep end and grab a gun and kill a bunch of people. How would you address, or what's your thinking on all that?
Well, we do have a mental health issue crisis in this country. We also have a substance abuse crisis in this country. And we have a family crisis going on in this country. And so when you look at the number of children that run away from home, about 90% of them have no father in the home. When you look at the kids who grab a gun and shoot someone, the vast majority, again, 85 to 90%, don't have a father in the home. And so when you start looking at this issue or these issues, it goes deeper than just this kind of cursory brush where you're talking about drugs or fentanyl or some of these other things. It gets back, we have a moral decay going on in this country. The family institution has been under attack for the last 3 or 4 decades in this country, and now we're seeing the outcome of taking God out of our lives, taking God out of our schools, taking God out of the public square. Our founding fathers were religious, and if you don't know that or don't believe that, go read a book. It's indisputable. And now we see, after we remove God from our lives, what happens when you have a godless society. And we're moving in that direction. So yes, we need to be doing more for mental health. We need to be doing more to stop the flow of drugs coming into this country by securing the border. But we also have to get back to faith in our community. Faith, quite frankly, in politics. It's okay for me to be mayor and for me to be Christian and to be, it's June, I'm proud. Right? Everybody's proud this month. Well, I'm proud of being a father. I'm proud of being a husband. I'm proud because, I serve my community. I'm proud that I'm a Christian. I'm proud because I'm a gun owner. And, I say those things knowing that upsets some people, but that's none of their business. If they don't like it and they're on Facebook, they keep scrolling. I got in trouble because our Christmas card, right? It was our family. We're all holding guns. Not our littlest one. It literally went national. Like the national media picked it up. They were picking on me and Lauren Boebert and Massey out of Kentucky. And but the point of that is if this hurts your feelings, go see a therapist. Get over it. It's Second Amendment is in the Constitution. I have a right to own a gun. I have a right to own several guns. If you don't like it, that's your problem, not mine.
We got about a minute and a half. I'm going to give you the final minute and a half here to kind of summarize your campaign. And for those who might not have heard it all this morning, why you think you should be the next 5th District Congressman.
Well, my name's Andy Ogles. I'm running for Congress. I'm currently the mayor of Maury County. Actions speak louder than words. My actions during COVID should prove that I'm a leader. I didn't back down. I fought against the mandates. I fought to keep my community open. With me, what you see is what you get. I'm a family man. I'm a father. I'm a Christian. And I'm the only person running for office. I'm a one-term mayor, but I served during COVID. I had to deal with the race riots, and I led during those times, difficult times, and I will fight for you just as I've been fighting for you for freedom and liberty here during COVID. I'll fight for freedom and liberty when I get to Congress. And that's why the Freedom Caucus has endorsed me.
All right. Tell us how long before you can start voting.
Yeah, look at that again. App. Well, you can go to andyogles.com or on Facebook to find me. Then as I pull up the app, we got 22 days and 23 seconds before you can vote for me for Congress.
Well, something to remember you by, if nothing else this morning. But thanks for being with us. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Andy Ogles, candidate for 5th District Congressman. And that is it for a Thursday. Hope you'll join us tomorrow for the Friday edition. And until then, I wish you a tremendous day.